Okay, today we're talking about relaunch. Relaunch is a new book that I have that's coming out shortly. I will be going into that, but I'm going to start off by kind of going over an excerpt from that particular book. And I think you'll find it kind of an interesting approach. It all started, though, a while back when I was standing in a darkened hall. It was very, very dark, and all the doors were closed. I was at a point of extreme desperation. I had reached a point in my life where nothing seemed to be working. There were no options, no successes, no answers. It seemed like oblivion stood there facing me, and I had no idea what on earth to do. At that point, that low, low point, from somewhere inside of me came the words, flip the switch. And I took that to mean I needed to wake up, act, and move. I also realized that if I didn't do something, nothing would change. And that's an important point. So I figured out I may as well flip the switch. I had absolutely nothing to lose. This was the beginning of a major relaunch in my life. It's not been smooth or easy, but it has produced results. It made me realize in retrospect, everything is a choice, everything. We may choose to let the circumstances of the moment drag us down or lift us up. Fortunately for me, I chose the latter. I also saw that life had presented me with a series of relaunches. And this is aside from the obvious periods of change, such as graduations, new jobs, new relationships, moves, and whatnot. Everything was coming to a head. So rather, they opened the door to new opportunities that brought about new ways of thinking and creating and being that produced my life that I have now. So now I've decided to, in their transformation, in their relaunches, to serve faster results and to have a greater impact on themselves and the world, of course. So life is, if you don't become more than what you are, we want you to be able to do more, become more, and become a contributor to the planet rather than a detractor. And that is somewhat the subject of my earlier book called Your Karmic Footprint. So from many life remains a survival mode, and one of our missions is to alter that. And for some, the opportunities to contribute beyond themselves. And the goal is to get out of survival, get into a self-initiated growth pattern. Now, relaunch is living, dying, and rebirthing. Now, we do this all the time. And for most, it is unconscious. It's just life throwing challenges at us. Now, the type of relaunch I'm talking about is a shift or change that alters your life in some meaningful way, such as in which they choose, or more likely are forced to relaunch some aspect of their being. This is not the kind of change in which you gain new skills or add on your knowledge or capabilities. That I look at as what I'm talking about is a fundamental shift in consciousness. It is qualitative rather than quantitative. It provides for new perspectives and ways of viewing your own reality. It can actually be quite fun, but like many people, we tend to resist, and this is a lot of it out of the fear of the unknown. We are programmed to maintain our existence and therefore resist change. Imagine the butterfly not emerging from its confinement for fear of change. People are fearful of this process. And in fact, it is what life and the travails that life contains is all about. So I ask you to embrace transformation as a natural and wonderful adventure, a way of becoming all that you can be and even more. Life is full of challenges and pain anyway. Why not use it to advantage and emerge to a greater potential? Relaunch is about renewal too. Imagine the bell curve. Picks the stages in life, moving from the bottom to a peak of accomplishment, only to begin a slow downward spiral. Yes, our bodies follow this cycle, but your mind and consciousness can resist this with every fiber of your being. I think of some of the ageless entertainers, George Burns for one, Tony Bennett. The word retirement was not in their vocabulary. They just keep going. You too can do the same, but it requires a mind shift. Life is for living and growing and being. Now, on our webpage, which is relaunchnetwork.com, it begins with the words, be more, do more, live more, and give more. Let that be your mantra. Base your life on these simple statements, and it will give you greater meaning and satisfaction than you can imagine. So let us begin. Now, what relaunch really is, it's a personal development industry, for example, is alive and well. Much of it is called what I called, as I referenced earlier, horizontal growth. It is oriented to adding skills and capabilities. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with this. It is a place where most people start when they encounter the itch to achieve more and be more. Educational systems and platforms are readily available and are thriving. And this is a good thing, as it shows that people are moving beyond a survival orientation. The aspiration to improve oneself is admirable, but relaunch is designed to take you further into reinvention and transformation, into being more and becoming more. And I maintain that this is a contact sport because your participation is required. You know, I recently saw a Facebook post asking for book recommendations on improving your self-confidence. It's a worthy goal. But what can a book do? It's akin to reading a book on motorcycle racing than going out to join a race. Transformation requires more than information. At another time, I was attending a T. Harv Eker seminar. And T. Harv was actually visiting the event and was on stage. He asked for a raised hand what was needed. And the person said, I need more information. I could see the smoke rising from his head. He did remain calm, however, as he explained information was of little meaning unless you are willing to act. In other words, you have to be in the game to really discover how the game is played. You learn in the mud and grit of doing rather than comfortably sitting in the library reading. I guess this is the basis for the notion that doers do and the rest teach. Many people experience relaunch as a byproduct of the travails of life. The challenges and difficulties we face are the greatest motivations for true transformation. Why change is not necessarily easy. It can be, but it isn't necessarily because we're programmed to remain the status quo. Keep life predictable and comfortable. And that brings to mind the whole pandemic situation that we have been experiencing. And everyone talks about the new normal. Well, I hate to tell you, there is no normal anymore. And we better get used to it because it's not going to be that way. So a fundamental principle of this book is not to react to the events in your life, rather respond. When you respond, you maintain poise and composure, but more importantly, control. Your challenge is to use the events in your life as a springboard for transformation. Now feel that. It's a new mindset, a new energy for your life. It's time to take it in and live it. Don't resist change, use it. Use it. A small example of this is public speaking, which is a challenge for many people. Regardless, there is really nervous energy. People get nervous, they sometimes get fearful when they're about to make a presentation. And they can have a sense of personal exposure. I suggest to people to take the energy, that nervous or fearful energy, and use it to your advantage. Use it to focus, to align and increase the potency of your presentation. And it really works. So life can be used as a force for change because without our daily challenges, we would tend to be inert. An additional premise we use is that transformation does not have to be a long slog. Personal development, of course, is a lifetime effort. And transformation can be a lifetime effort, and it should be. But the real insights and real results don't have to be long-term. They can be instantaneous. For some of you, your relaunch can be fast and easy, and it can go lead on to the next one. It means you've been percolating already, and it can be as easy as popping a balloon. But the time right now is for you to commit, and this is a commitment to yourself. Are you worth it? Yes, of course, even though you might not fully believe it. But so what? Do it anyway. A part of this game is doing what may seem uncomfortable at the time. It is only a way that way until you do it. So the key to moving forward is to do what you need to do. You know, a big message in the success industry is that success and money are just outside of your comfort zone. The same is true for transformation. Let's just plain do it. Now, I am just launching the relaunch. I've got a book in the works called Relaunch: Create the Life You Are Meant to Have, which means that you can become a much greater expression of yourself than even you can conceive. If we're limited to our own thinking, we've got to make changes on that. So we're looking for new ways of thinking, new ways of being, new energy to embolden and charge our lives. So the book is the first part. I've got a website called relaunchnetwork.com. I invite you to come on over and see what it's all about. It's just a starting point. I've got a free report you can download, which is the 5 conditions for personal transformation. I think you'll find them interesting, and they're also a part of the book too, and will be the basis of seminars and other activities going forward. So please join us at relaunchnetwork.com and have a gander. Look forward to touching base with you and hearing from you further. Thank you so much. That's it for now, Jim.